That year, winter was especially harsh. Snow lay like a thick blanket over the land, and the cold pierced to the bone. A group of old friends, Alexei, Irina, Sergei, Natalia, and Dmitri, decided to celebrate New Year's Eve in a remote hunting cabin deep in the forest. They were drawn to the idea of escaping the hustle of the city and immersing themselves in nature and cozy solitude. The cabin stood on the edge of a dense forest, surrounded by ancient fir trees whose branches sagged under the weight of snow. Locals rarely ventured into these parts, whispering that ancient rituals were once held here, dedicated to a forgotten winter god, Korochun. But the friends paid no attention to old legends, dismissing them as mere fairy tales. Arriving at the cabin on New Year's Eve, they immediately began preparing. They lit the stove, decorated the room with garlands and candles, and laid out a feast. Sergei and Dmitri prepared a nearby sauna and cut a hole in the ice for a cold plunge after steaming. Laughter and joy filled the small house, warming its walls better than any fire. When the clock struck midnight, the friends stepped outside with glasses of champagne to launch fireworks. The night sky lit up with bright flashes, colorful lights reflecting on the snow, creating a magical atmosphere. Laughter and cheerful shouts echoed through the forest. Then, the celebration was suddenly interrupted. From deep within the woods came a long drawn-out howl that chilled their blood. Out of the tree shadows emerged wolves, 10 massive beasts with jet-black fur and glowing red eyes. They moved silently, surrounding the group in a tight circle. The friends froze, unable to believe their eyes. And then he appeared, a figure resembling Father Frost from childhood tales, but twisted and terrifying. Tall, with a long white beard, clad in a heavy fur coat, he held a massive axe, its blade gleaming in the moonlight. Alexei tried to speak, but no words came out. The figure had no need for greetings. With a swift motion, he stepped forward and swinging the axe struck Alexei. His head fell into the snow, staining it crimson. Panic seized the others. Irina screamed, but her cry was cut short as a wolf lunged and sank its fangs into her throat. Sergei tried to flee, but his feet slipped on the ice. He didn't make it far before claws tore into his back. Natalia and Dmitri clung to each other, watching the carnage unfold in horror. The figure approached them and, without a word, swung the axe. Blood sprayed onto the snow, mixing with the frost. When it was over, the forest fell silent once more. The wolves gathered the bodies and stacked them beneath a fir tree, which the figure adorned with the remains of his victims. They stood around the tree as if performing an ancient rite, then, satisfied that all was complete, disappeared into the depths of the forest, leaving behind only tracks in the snow and an ominous silence. By morning, the locals found the cabin empty. There was no trace of the friends. Only blood on the snow and a gruesome decorated tree bore witness to the horror. The village elders merely shook their heads. Korochun has taken his offering once again.